Hello, and welcome to another edition of Why This Album Is the Balls. Lopez is gonna be going on to some other places. I think Soen. But I think in this album there were a lot of parts in this album where I thought he has just hit his peak, and really just beautiful skills and amazing timing and these toms that he's just jamming on, as well as triple beats in the bass and all kinds of cool shit. This also introduces the new keyboardist, which is Per Weiberg. So, brings a lot of interesting dynamics to the tone and qualities of the band. So with that, I don't think I forgot anything. Ghost Reveries begins with Ghost of Perdition, which is the first track. Now, what a song, because in many senses, this is a great song, not only because of the length and composition and quality and the tones and the chords and everything. It is also kind of a reinvention from the previous album, where I think a lot of Opeth fans were like, hey, where's my death metal stuff, you know? Just like it's like they played a little game here. So I suspect that when the Opeth fan popped the CD into the CD player for the very first time, and you hear these beautifully written 4 little chords, and they were like, oh man, and then just 8 seconds in, just slams you right in the face. So I'm sure that made a lot of the death metal fans quite happy. It's just an insanely amazing riff with this chord progression and the scales. It's just absolutely brilliant. Then at this section here, we change his tone with the clean vocals, but keeping the same kind of chorus.
Devil cracked the earthly shelf who told you was the one who opened to the room and said you have to live before you die.
At this part, really changes to their to Michael's amazing vocal ability. He's keeping notes in his voice from really high pitch to all the way down the scale to the lowest pitch, and it's just perfectly on key. That is something that he must have gotten some sort of vocal training for, because I think in this album he has hit a new level of vocal ability with this section. the what's interesting about that part is the last three chords of this verse, doom, doom, doom. That part is delayed in a certain way, because for me, when listening to the whole measure, it pauses for like a beat and a half, which is really weird. So you expect the doom, doom, doom to happen right after this chorus, but it holds your breath for a second and a half, which is really interesting. So I don't know why that's like that, but it's an interesting part of the composition. In those chords, it kind of gives birth to this slight mellow guitar solo that still sounds like there's some Steve Wilson influence. I think they've learned a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean like a boatload of stuff they learned from Mr. Wilson. We get a little heavier into the next measure before getting into those sweeping guitar chords, distortion sweeping guitar chords, just jamming right along, and these gorgeous bass lines at this section here, where the vocals are compressed, like in previous albums where I mentioned like the compressed vocals are like the spiritual side, and then the clean vocals are like the normal side. Then at this section, we get these machine gun muted palm riffs with the double bass, which is freaking awesome. And before it takes you to this beautiful ride into this acoustic dreamland here.
To see a beloved son in
at this section, a slightly heavier guitar solo from the first one over their sweeping chords before more heavy chaos. At this section, I know this, I just dissected this song so crazy, but there's just so much to it. But at this section, we get this crazy scale. It goes down to another little acoustic piece. Then the song ends with that vocal chorus with heavy riffs and the drum rolls. I just think it's a mesmerizing chorus with those vocals and the riffs. It just, once you hear it, you just can't get it out of your head. But it's awesome. Then we get to song number 2, "The Baying of the Hounds." This is a great intro for their new keyboard. Solo anyway. They had some great key parts in Ghost of Perdition, keeping that heightened ambient ceiling. But in this one here, it's a great intro just to give him that kind of classic key tones, 70s style kind of bit. But it's a great intro for Mr. Weiber. Continues with these heavy chords and vocals, slamming keys, like he's just pounding away. And then at this section, we have this drum roll to palm muted riffs and great key tones weaving into the vocals.
Everything you believed is a lie. Everyone you loved is dead.
At this section, these ridiculous scales. I mean, it's just insane. Going down into this tone like a bad circus ride. You know, it just feels weird. And then is this long, drawn out power chord, leaving you into some mellow medley. At this section here, I thought the tone of this is so cool. It's just I don't know. It's just there's something about this tone. I'd love to know what kind of effect it is, but it just sounds awesome. And after this, it goes into these heavy sweeping chords and vocals again. This section here, this string pounding chords, I think they're pounding on it instead of strumming with a pick or with fingers. And I think they're banging on these strings, which gives it this unique quality before taking off into this screaming solo. The song changes here, changes course for a hauntingly beautiful acoustic ride with these toms. I mean, he's really he must have got a new drum kit because he's playing around with the toms quite a bit, and it's just a gorgeous ride before it gets into this momentous ending with the double bass and sweeping riffs and harsh vocals. And then we get to Beneath the Mire. Now, I've heard the Mire vocally in the previous song, which is interesting. So this is kind of a continuation of the theme of this album. It's a great groove with a steady beat and these key tones at this section here. Then here, we have the heaviest and deepest chords I've ever heard. I mean, these are just, I don't know if they toned or, toned the guitar down, maybe an octave or something to give it such a deep growl. But I thought it was just gorgeous. Now here we change gears completely with a little piano and guitar medley, and then going into this sad and dreary rhythm with these beautiful clean vocals. after this guitar solo here, we have these dark and mysterious scales that lead to a horrifying riff with all the instruments taking their part and just going crazy. After this insanity, we get into this spacey, trippy ending. It's just kind of just taking you off into outer space, which is an amazing transition for the next tune. So with Atonement, with the ending of that previous song, it's just this chord progression is kind of like the main heartbeat of the song. It takes you, it's just mesmerizing, and it's just it's such a. It reminds me of Far Cry 4 when you meet these two weirdos and they drug you up and take you on this trippy journey, but this whole song reminds me of that. And the vocals at this section just feels like you're in this underwater world, and then it voices off into the main chorus, and it's just gorgeous.
Suddenly, I'm no longer breaking to all of my plans.
At this section, we continue this ride with a little piano groove. So it's a great ending for such a trippy song. So it totally different than what you'd expect from listening to the first three songs. We get then to Reverie in Harlequin Forest. Now it's a good transition because it begins with a very peaceful strum of chords and spacey keynotes before taking you into the heavy sweeping chords again.
Into the
Now this heavy chorus continues until we get to another change up, which I thought was pretty intense here. Now it's heavy on the keys and the ending vocal point before these raw guitar chords. Now this part of the song I found to be such a profound statement. You are the laughing stock, and I just and then it changes tune to bring you into this acoustic jam, but listen to these vocals and it's just like, whoa, that is profound. So I thought that was a really awesome bit.
You are the laughing stock of the amplified confession stuck in your mouth like a demon's lips.
at this section here, after this groove, we get back into these slow, heavy chords, and then an insanely long scream. The song ends with this crazy progressive metal beat. It's for someone that, you know, is trying to follow along. It's very hard to it's hard to follow it because it's so off time and just weird. But it's such a fitting end to this tune. It's absolutely fantastic. Oh, and two, along with this crazy beat, there's these key tones in the background. If you listen really, really closely, they are just kind of spooky. We get to Hours of Wealth. Another change of tone. This is a kind of a sad little acoustic piece that it begins with, and then it kind of changes tone, adding the bass lines and an eerie keynote in the back. At this section here, we continue the sad story with these amazing vocals, and then you get into this. Melts right into this heartfelt and very sorrowful guitar solo. So this particular song, it's interesting because it doesn't quite fit exactly the theme of the album, but in a certain way, I felt it was kind of like you're given a chance to become wealthy, and then you lost it all, and then what? You know, it's kind of like, it's the title, Hours of Wealth, instead of just, you know, a lifelong of wealth or years of wealth. It's just hours. So you've attained this level of wealthiness, and then it's all gone, or you're all alone and it doesn't matter, or what have you. So interesting take on that particular title. Interesting. I'd like to know other people's thoughts of that one. And then, boy, oh boy, what I think was meant to be the ending of this album, The Grand Conjuration, they put the last song, Isolation Years, I think as an add-on, because I think Michael said he liked the song so much he wanted it to be on the album, but it didn't fit the theme of the story of the whole album, but he just threw it in there. I think it made sense. But anyway, we got to The Grand Conjuration. And then, you know, just like Opeth, you go from sad to insane, and beginning with this riff here. Then at this section here, we get into the spooky, haunting vocals and really slow and deep tones here.
Majesty, faithful me,
And then here we have these gut-punching riffs at this section here. Just, oh. And then this guitar solo, this insane guitar solo here. And then here, man, it's such a crazy tune. There's this weird key transition and spooky tones before just slamming into more insanity. Into that deep slow groove before getting to the finale, which sounds like heaven is falling from the sky, and angels are screaming, and the world is just being demolished. Those key tones in the ceiling, man, they just really set the stage for the whole world to fall apart. I thought that was beautiful. So that what an ending. Just you go from I guess demons being persecuted and murdered to being alone and isolated, and then the world's fallen apart, and then we get to isolation years, which is more sadness and loneliness. And after the last song is just, now it feels like, before the sad song with Hours of Wealth, you kind of felt sad and lonely, and it's too bad that you lost everything. But then this one really nails, everything is gone. Not just wealth and not just people everything. It's done. Everything's gone, and that's it. One of my favorites to listen to over and over again. Just has such a great theme, great visuals. All these songs just take me into this demonic world, splitting apart, having a little bit of peace here and there with their acoustic rides, and then ending in just complete emptiness. So great album. So also, too, don't forget the Soldier of Fortune cover, which is beautiful, by the way. That Soldier of Fortune is almost an exact replica of Deep Purple's song. So it wasn't like sometimes Opeth takes something and totally changes everything. They kept the song pretty much the same, and I think I did a video of the two songs mixed together, and it was pretty interesting. They were very, very close. Okay, cool. Well, that's why this album is the balls. I mean, it's really a fantastic story of chaos and madness, which is something that Opeth is so good at explaining musically and lyrically. So awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So, yeah. So, cool. Well, check the whole album out if you haven't heard it. Gotta do it. And until the next time, cheerio.